I'd like to welcome Grayson, Managing Director of Aruma Resources. Aruma is a diversified explorer with 3 premier projects, all in Western Australia, looking across gold, lithium and rare earths.
Thank you very much. As you said, diversified exploration. We're looking for several commodities. Gold primarily, moved into lithium a few years ago, and sort of morphing into rare earths and base metals currently. Usual disclaimers. Let's be quick. So corporate snapshot, 200 million shares on issue, market cap at the moment of a bit over 6.5 million, $3 million in the bank at the moment, so we're well funded going forward. What we do really well is get some money back from the government each year in an R&D rebate. Last year we got back over $800,000, and that's based on a model that we do each year based on gold in volcanoclastics at the moment, which I'll elaborate on a little bit further. But it means we spend our money in the ground about 1.4 times. So I've got 5 projects, all in Western Australia. It really is a great place to do work, as we all know here. Up in the Yilgarn, I've got a gold project at Melrose, which is around the old Northern Star Paulsens mine that's currently being operated by Black Cat Syndicated. Closer to Newman, I've got Saltwater, which is a gold rare earths target. Down in the Yilgarn, 2 gold projects, one at Carter Well, which is only just granted, and at Salmon Gums, closer to Esperance, and a lithium project at Mount Deans, which is just south of Norseman. So of the 5 projects, 3 that I really like are, and I'll talk about more, Saltwater, Mount Deans and Salmon Gums. So what sets me apart, or Aruma apart, as I said, is the way we peg the ground. So we go looking for the prospective geology that fits our gold in volcanoclastics model, but it has to be overlooked for whatever reason, and really underexplored. So at Salmon Gums was always mapped as part of the Albany-Fraser zone south of the Yilgarn. We know that's not the case. It is Norseman-style mineralisation. Carter Well was always mapped by GSWA as granite, but it's the upper part of a mafic sequence of a greenstone belt. Mount Deans has outcropping pegmatites. Tantalum resource from 2002 was never sampled for lithium. And Saltwater, the local station owners up there have been successfully prospecting nuggets out of the creek systems up there, so pretty much undrilled and untested. First one I'll go into is Salmon Gums. As I said, always mapped as part of the Albany-Fraser zone. The Cundalee Fault here was always the southernmost extent of the Yilgarn. Pantoro are currently mining their Scotia project here. They've got about a 2 million ounce resource, and it's definitely Norseman-style mineralisation. It's quartz vein with arsenopyrite, and as you can see over, not quite nice grades. Last year we drilled an RC hole at Salmon Gums that hit some Norseman-style mineralisation over this Thistle project here, 5 metres at 50 grams, only 42 metres down a hole. And earlier this year I did an RC program to extend the mineralisation, was successful in extending the mineralisation, but I didn't hit the same tenor of gold mineralisation. So recently we've been in there with a diamond rig, drilling some core in the wheat fields there, which you don't get too many drill rigs in the growing wheat, and we've successfully hit that structure that hosts the 5 at 50. It is a nice developed quartz lode with arsenopyrite disseminated through it, and we think that's going to help us now with the geology model. So going forward at Salmon Gums, it's going to be really working out what's going on with the geology from this core and taking that forward. Mount Deans is my lithium project, so this is 10 kilometres south of Norseman. As you can see on the map there, that's the road to Esperance. Deep Sea Port is only 200 kilometres away. To note here, it is a lepidolite ore body, so it's not spodumene. Lepidolite is the poor cousin to hard rock lithium, but it's important to note that lepidolite does source up to 25% of the world's lithium at the moment, predominantly in China, but it is starting to be developed in a much greener light in that there's now some sulfate salt roasting and other forms of processing to extract the lithium out of the lepidolite that's much friendlier. But importantly at Mount Deans, it comes with some other things as well. So it's got rubidium, it's also got tantalum, tin and cesium, all at economic grades. As I said, 2002, there's a tantalum resource grading 250 ppm tantalum. Tin itself can also provide a lot of profit to the project. If the tin and the tantalum can pay for the mining and the processing, then the lithium's all profit. So the fact that it's lepidolite, give it a huge discount, it still makes a tidy sum of money, this project. So the fact that it's lepidolite, I think, is starting to change in people's minds. I think lepidolite's going to grow some legs, and around the world it's starting to get viewed in a lot nicer fashion. So that's the simple sort of flow sheet. As I said, the tin and the tantalum does liberate well, and we've just got to show through some more detailed metallurgy what they can get to. Up in the Pilbara, got two projects up there. As I said, Melrose closer to Poulson's, saltwater closer to Newman, both close to the Nanjalgardi Fault, which is the main controlling structure through the region. Mount Olympus, Kalamazoo got that to about 1.4 million ounces, and just off to the other side of the map here is Karlawinda, so Capricorn's project up towards 2 million ounces. I'll zoom into saltwater. That's a project that I'm focusing on a fair bit at the moment. It's about 150 kilometres southwest of Newman. In about 2010, a company by the name of U308 were doing uranium exploration and successfully found some really high-grade rare earth samples up to the north there at Sirius and Levanto. They also found the Nobby's prospect, which has got 3% copper, a bit of lead and a bit of gold and vanadium as well. Saltwater is where the local station owners were finding nuggets, and earlier this year our neighbours at Dreadnought released some results for Monster there, which says 12 grams gold, but importantly 3% antimony, and to me 3% antimony means you're in an extremely juicy gold system. They also found some heavy rare earths in the middle, and just to explain what the map looks like with the neighbours, Dreadnought have got over 2,000 square kilometres that they've gone in pretty hard in the last 12 months to acquire. In the red there is Wesfarmers, and the blue's Tech Australia. So it's been an area that's received some focus recently, so from some companies with pretty deep pockets. So back to the geology. We go to visit the Levanto prospect, and it's a black manganiferous shale that's got hydrothermal quartz breccia. Hydrothermal quartz breccia is the important part there. It's had a fair bit of work happen to it. Down at saltwater, the same rocks, so the black manganiferous shale with the hydrothermal quartz breccia. So we're going with the model there, which is what Northern Minerals used at Browns Range. The unconformity model also works for uranium. But essentially, the Wailu Formation is a very thick sequence of sediments, volcanoclastics and volcanics. The saline fluids scavenge the metals out of the pile that hits the unconformity, and that acts as a cap and drops the metals out. Earlier this year, some surface sampling. We grabbed some samples that went 0.3% cobalt, 0.2% copper, 0.2% zinc. That was at saltwater itself. But importantly, the 4% barium means you're in a VMS style system. So the volcanics in the Wailu Formation might be very important to us here. And that's something we'll focus on going forward. I have been pretty busy doing some field work recently, so that's just a summary of the news flow that can be expected. So as I said, more field results from saltwater will be coming out soon. That drilling that I haven't quite finished yet doing at Salmon Gums, that'll come out in the next couple of weeks with some news results, probably another 5 to 6 weeks after that. An additional field work at saltwater and at Carterwell, an initial program. And I need to do some diamond drilling at Mount Deans to get a bit of core for some detailed met test work on what I can do with the pegmatites there. So the highlights for Aruma in the last 12 years is that we have done a lot of work into the ground and been successful in our drilling. So Mount Deans and at Salmon Gums was very successful. We are well funded, $3 million in the bank at the start of this month. The R&D component coming back in means that I'll probably likely still have about $3 million in the bank come December. And we've had a bit of a refresh, so I come on to run Aruma late last year and started as MD in January, and we've got a fresh set of eyes and we're really starting to open up. We're not just focused on gold, we are looking for lithium, rare earths, base metals as well. But remember Aruma, it's an Indigenous word that means happy place. So I think it's a really valid investment opportunity for us. Thank you.
Questions? Any questions? My question, Glenn, is you're spreading yourselves fairly thin there, it seems. Is the idea to do that preliminary work across the portfolio and then find a focus, or do you plan to try and bring things along in parallel?
I guess there's some work together. So Salmon Gums is in the wheat belt, so we are limited to usually working in the summer period there. Up in the Ashburton it's too hot, so you can't work in the summer up there. So in some ways they complement a little bit. But it's just, I like to have 3 to 4 projects on the go at once, and some you've got to drop off, so that's what stage we're at the moment, I guess, with one.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you. Cheers.
No worries. Thank you.